All right. I am also a registered nurse. I'm board certified in holistic nursing. I've studied herbs and other alternative or integrative approaches to healthcare for many years. One of my favorite passions, my passion is really whole food, healthy food, real milk, real butter, real cream. So in that light, I guess I was asked to do this presentation. I don't know how you found out about me.
Oh, nobody knows you.
Nobody knows me. I keep a very low profile. So I guess that's really anything else?
You're very popular here, by the way.
I am?
Oh, yes.
Well, you worked at Smart Workshop, right?
Okay, how did you know that?
Because that's how you got to the CSAs.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're very popular.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, on that note, let's start.
Go ahead, let's start.
Okay. Is that good?
Yep.
All right. What's an herb? Anybody? What's an herb?
Medicinal plant.
A plant.
Good. Medicinal plant. Anything else?
Green part of the plant.
Green part of the plant. Anything else?
Delicious.
Delicious? Yeah.
Something that you smoke?
Something that you smoke. Yes. Yes. You just dated yourself, and I just dated myself. Yeah. Okay. Actually, the word herb comes from the botanical term herbaceous. Now, herbaceous refers to the non-woody part of the plant, and it usually refers to the part that's green or leafy. Okay, so that's where that term came from. But what about, the roots and the bark and the berries and the seeds that we use? Those parts of the plant are usually referred to as spices. The pungent, which is, strong taste, aromatic, they've got volatile oils that have a scent. It's generally thought of as a culinary term, a spice. So that's not all-inclusive enough either. What about terms like functional food? That's a new term that people are using a lot. And that refers to a food or a food ingredient that has health benefits beyond what we usually consider the traditional elements of the food, the traditional nutrients, the fats, the proteins, the carbohydrates, the common vitamins. But, more and more research is being done that shows all real food is functional. There are other health benefits. We just haven't learned about a lot of them yet, but we're learning more and more. So I don't like that term either. And also, it doesn't refer to plants that we don't traditionally think of as foods, like ginkgo. Nobody's going to go out and eat ginkgo. You get sick to your stomach. But it's medicinal and it's considered herbal. What else? Oh, nutraceutical is another word that's thrown around. I don't like that word at all. It kind of refers to nutrients used as drugs or as pharmaceuticals, and I kind of stay away from that term. And then, botanical medicine, medicinal plants, very clinical. I'm not crazy about those terms either. So that kind of brings us back to herb. So we're going to consider an herb to be, at least for this talk, a whole plant, either fresh or dried, that's used in herbal therapy, whatever that means. But what we're going to do, and that kind of brings us back to intent. So, why are we using this plant, with these plants? What are we doing with them beyond the idea of food, beyond the idea of nourishing ourselves? And so we're going to talk about using herbs for teas and in cooking. So I'm not talking about supplements. We'll address that a little bit, but I'm really not going to talk about supplements. In fact, you can kind of think of this as being a motivational talk, so that the next time you go to the CSA and you see nettles or cilantro, you're going to go, oh, I can use this as a tea or a mouthwash or, something, a little bit different, and maybe give you a broader appreciation for what we're getting here. Just to go back, I do want to note that I consider an herb that's been standardized to a certain level of activity to really require an extra level of caution and use. It's not the same to use turmeric in your rice or curry as it is to take it in a concentrated pill form. You really need to exercise a little bit of care when you're using herbs more medicinally. And actually, I want to read an excerpt from one of my favorite herbals. This is by Rosemary Gladstar, who is one of my favorite people in the whole world. And this is her perspective on safety. So many reports have surfaced recently about the dangers of herbal medicine. Even perfectly benign plants such as chamomile and peppermint are finding themselves on the herbal blacklist. Are we just discovering the dangers of herbs? No, but we are now able to ingest herbs in tremendously potent forms. In the past, herbs were most often taken as teas, tinctures, or syrups. But herbal capsules, which make it easier for us to swallow as much herb as we wish, and standardized preparations which contain extracts of herbal constituents that are far more concentrated than nature ever intended, have not been available until fairly recently. Few herbs are actually toxic, but just about any herb may occasionally stimulate an idiosyncratic reaction in an individual. Strawberries, for example, are sweet nectar to some and noxious to others. This doesn't make strawberry toxic. It's just a poor choice for that particular person. Don't be scared off from herbal medicine by a few dramatic news stories, and they seem to be coming more and more now. Use your head. Herbs are powerful medicine, but they don't always have the same effect on everyone. Take the time to get to know the herbs and how they affect you. You'll reap the benefits of energy, health, and vitality for years to come. So one of the first things you want to do when you're starting to use herbs in this way is to become educated. And there are a lot of good books out there on herbs. Two of my favorites are The Green Pharmacy by Dr. Jim Duke, who is a treasure, and also the one by Rosemary Gladstar, which is The Family Herbal. Probably one of the best beginning books to use.